What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my second channel. My name is Isaac, here with more anime reviews. I've made 2 videos on 2 different anime shows up to this point, so here's the third. Today I'm going to be talking about a 28 episode long show called Maid Sama. I think that is how you say it. Hopefully I am not wrong. Maid Sama. The show follows a girl named Misaki, hopefully, who at school is, I believe, the higher up of the school council, the student council. I believe that is what she is. So she is seen as very tough at school. She is seen as very put together and in control and overall assertive. But her part-time job outside of school is being a maid at a maid-themed cafe. So she has a very interesting combination in her lifestyles. And she very much does not want the school to find out about the maid lifestyle. So when another student at the school, who is sort of seen as like a dreamy guy amongst all the girls, we're just gonna call him Usui, because that's his last name, and most people call him that anyway, so we're just gonna call him Usui, because that's easier to say, I think. Anyway, Usui, who is, again, seen as like a dreamy guy around the school who has to reject girls quite often, finds out about Misaki's part-time job, and he's interested in her, and she kind of holds this over her head a little bit, you could say, and he keeps coming back to the cafe, and that is kind of how their relationship and the overall story starts. I will say, Misaki and Usui do have great chemistry, just because Misaki is very loud, expressive, pronounced, and Usui is not. He stays to him. He's much more quiet, and he's much more monotone. That doesn't mean he doesn't have some interesting things to say or an interesting personality, but their balance and chemistry definitely works very well when you're watching it. And later on, actually, one of Misaki's childhood friends comes into the picture. His name, I think... I write these things down for myself, but Japanese names, man. Hinata. H-I-N-A-T-A. Hinata is what I'm going to say. It doesn't sound right. But anyway, yeah. Hinata, one of Misaki's childhood friends, comes into the picture later on. And he has a massive crush on her. She is absolutely obsessed with her. So inherently, Usui and Hinata have a bit of a rivalry for quite a few episodes. And it is honestly it's shockingly suspenseful, because they're kind of just both doing their absolute best to spend more time with Misaki. And that sounds very generic, which it is, but it's genuinely suspenseful, and it doesn't feel forced at all. It feels very natural. And it's quite interesting to watch. That's another thing I want to talk about, is the actual romance of the show. Does not feel forced whatsoever. At the end of the show, shockingly, Usui and Misaki do get together. And, you know, again, that's a very obvious plot point to put into the show, especially at the conclusion, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels very natural. I think these characters, once again, work off of each other extremely well, and the way they work in the story just works. It doesn't feel forced at all. It feels very realistic, and yeah, it's a really cute show. It's a very adorable show, and yeah, it's a overall story and concept. It works, and it's fun. And just focusing on the characters a bit more, again, Misaki, very enjoyable protagonist, who's just trying to balance the weird parts of her life together, and Usui, as most in anime shows, is a major simp, but that's okay, because we love him. He's very fun to follow as well, and it is genuinely sweet to see how much Usui does care about Misaki, and helps her out with time, and does anything for her, really. They are genuinely very sweet characters. The student council also has some pretty lovable people, with some of the more side characters of mainly Misaki's friends. You know, there's not a whole lot to say about them. I don't really have that much, but they are fun, and they add to the story, and they add to Misaki as a character. So, you know, it's fun, as well as the other maids at the cafe. they just work off of each other and contribute to the show, and it's overall really fun. I think the characters work well together. Now I just want to talk about I just want to briefly, don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to talk about some of my favorite versus least favorite episodes. Alright, first one episode, I shouldn't have wanted to talk about this because I'm going to butcher the name again. Misaki goes to Miyabigaoka. This one, episode 8, I think. I don't know how to say most of these things. It's really tragic. It has one of the most engaging plots of any episode, without a doubt, with the main character, Misaki, being invited to a different school, arguably a better school, well, no, objectively a better school, and she has to decide whether or not she wants to. And when she goes there to see, it's bad, not what she expected. The main, I believe the head of the student council of that school, I think it is, hopefully I'm not getting that wrong, ends up sexually harassing her and just being an overall scumbag, not at all like they thought he would be. And seeing Usui rescue Misaki is just, again, a really sweet moment for them, and it has a really engaging plot overall. The pacing and suspension, not suspension, fucking tension that builds is very real. Another one I really enjoyed was Sotoru Kano of Class 1 to 7. It focuses around how the student council wants to throw together some sort of festival, and this freshman student who is the definition of incel, literally hates women, shows up and causes some crazy shit. It's pretty dark, honestly. It doesn't present itself as dark at all, honestly, which is weird, but it's one of the more fucked up ones. And, but I do really enjoy the, it's a good story. It's a good story, it's really interesting, and, good conclusion. It's one of the more disturbing ones, though, I can't lie. And then my top 3 episodes are the last 3. Damn it, now I have to say the names. Lovey-Dovey through Latte Magic, that one's easy. Hinata and Misaki and Usui, and Too Cruel, what the fuck? Yuzawa. I don't remember. It's Misaki's last name. I don't remember how to say it. Too Cruel something, and Usui the idiot. I'm sorry. Hang me. Anyway, these three episodes sum up the show absolutely perfectly. The chemistry between the 3 characters and the love triangle is absolutely amazing. It's super engaging, and the conclusion is perfect. It's just overall a really satisfying... It's a very satisfying show. I think it all comes together very nicely. One of my 2 episodes that I want to talk about that I didn't really like is Maid Sama does Momotaro. Oh, fuck me, man. This show just throws so many fucking words that I don't understand. This is a very fantasy-focused episode. It is just a fantasy story using characters from the real universe of Maid Sama, putting them into this fictitious scenario, this fictitious story, and it's just really boring, and it's just really lame. Again, it's a fantasy story using real elements of the world, so it's just kind of pointless. It doesn't really do anything for the actual show. Like, most of the episodes, at least, contribute to the story. This one didn't. It was just boring. I didn't like it at all. There was a couple cute or funny moments, but it's just not fun at all. And the other one is called Idiots and Juveniles and Heroes. I don't really know what to say. It's just boring. I don't know what it is about it. It's formulaically, I think that's a word, kind of the same as the other episodes, sure, but I don't know. There's not a single moment that I think is cute amongst the characters. There's not a single arc from the characters that I think is good. Not really any funny moments. Nothing sound or animation-wise that I like about it. It's just kind of really boring. I just didn't really enjoy it, and I was kind of worried that the show was gonna get worse because of that episode, but it picked back up right after this one. Speaking of the music, I think the OST is amazing. I love it. Although the soundtrack overall is really good, I think what I'm mainly keeping in mind is the main theme, which has some really cute and peaceful piano, and then it picks up with some strings, and then it gets really upbeat at about the 30-second mark with some really cool drums and a much more upbeat overall tone and sound. it's just really fun. I really enjoyed it. And again, the ending is perfect. I just gotta throw that out there again, as a conclusion. The ending is great, with the way Misaki and Usui finally end up getting together. It's just played off perfectly. It's just the pacing and build-up to it is done perfectly. There's literally nothing wrong with it, which isn't the case in most shows that have a conclusion like this. So I don't think I have anything else really to say. Just overall, I think the story and concept of Maid Sama is very fun and enjoyable to experience. I think the characters are great and play off of each other very well, and I think its romantic elements are written and portrayed perfectly, which again often isn't the case. It often feels forced or lazy, but in this it just feels natural, and I think it does a great job with it. Good soundtrack, pretty consistent episode quality. I really enjoyed it. I think it was really fun. How does it compare to the ones I've reviewed so far? I would say it's in the middle. I would say my list thus far would be Devilman Crybaby, Maid Sama, or on High School Host Club. I really did enjoy all three of them. I think they're all great. This one, I would just say, compared to Ouran High School Host Club, it just has a much more detailed plot, I would say. And the overall emotions of the characters is much more present and much more realistic, I'd say, and it's just easier to connect with, I would say. And Devilman Crybaby, I don't know, I just think it's too fantastic. The detail and complexity of that show is, I don't know, it's so far unmatched. So yeah, so far I have enjoyed all three shows. I would say Maid Sama is directly in the middle with some low moments in its episodes for sure, and again, some of them being just straight up boring throughout the entire runtime. But overall, I think it has a great plot, great story, great characters, and I really did enjoy watching it. That's going to be all from me. Let me know what you guys thought of the show, what you agree or disagree with me with. I can't say Japanese names, nor can I speak English. Let me know what you disagree with me on, or what you agree with me on. Let me know what you thought of the show overall. Hit like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more. That's going to be all from me. Thank you. See ya.